All right, episode 6. Let's see. Now it's the roller coaster begins. Start the meter 1 second. And wait, this already started for a second. Let me go back. And boom. Boom. Okay. Okay. Everything's good. Episode 6. Halfway done. At some point. Now it looks like part 1. To go back into the prison willingly. That's the difference. Jolene's changed already. Embrace it. A couple of weeks, wow. Everything. Hermes. Bruh. $50. Interesting. What dog doing? What's going on there? Oh man. Try and show the bare minimum here. Don't stop bleeding. What does that mean? What do they mean there? What are they trying to say there? Hard earned. Fever. How's it be sticking out like that? Okay, okay. Sold to her. Then what? Then what happens? I guess I'm assuming the stone was still in there. Magic. Bruh. Yo, who knows that? Yeah, you can create unlimited food. Oh yeah, I guess if you're far away, it disappears. Yo. Reverts back. Astigmatism. It's like Josuke. When he repairs something, it all comes back together. And where's that guy anyway? Where's Josuke? Oh, she's muscular though. Sweaty. Boom. You find out your stand powers in 1 minute. That's what, when I first pooped, that's what I said. It definitely came out of my body. Nice. Yatta. Nice hand drawing. Took his broom sweeping ability. Dude, she is so sweaty. Panicking. CD. What? He has nothing on it? There's no picture. A model? He's gone. Is he, it's shaped like one. It's soft, elastic. Yo, they gotta make these into a toy. Dude. They're gonna see Jotaro poop. POV. Yuddy, yuddy. Now she knows. Who was that guy? Uh-oh. Look at this guy. Yo, is that the Lolly Ho soundtrack? The old soundtrack? You can't remember. I forget what. That's a good meme. There's meme potential there. This guy got McDonald's on his hair though. Hmm. So is this what Jotaro is like now? Go back to Jotaro. What's he doing? Bro. Uh. Oh, yeah, that's his stand? He did have a stand. Freeway. What was that? Steve McQueen. Pure evil. Terrible. Damn. That's the purest evil. I like you. I like him already. What disc did she have? Hmm. Sticker. That's pretty strong. He has a choker that flies. Daijobu. I can't imagine what this would hear. Let's sound like in English. I remember reading this actually. It was pretty funny. What the? He's a serial suicidal. Hmm. Double nose. That works actually. The disc. He wants to die. Wait, so what's happening? I don't even know. She picked it up, okay. Okay, go ahead. Unless it's a long range, if it's a stand. Yo! I knew it. It's a stand, by the way. For the plot. Yeah. I guess she found that out over time. Two discs. And a stand disc. Oh no. That's hard to watch, actually. I hate that. Ooh, ah. Ooh, ah. Yo. He's doing everything. Topia knows. How do you know that? What? He grew up in a prison. Dude, how's he know? I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's the fluid. I didn't know that. Poorly lit stairs. Wait, why is she getting hurt? Oh, jeez. Look at this guy. Okay. Jesus. What? And then there was a woman falling as well. Bruh. Wait, what would be the legal action there? Who would he actually? Probably actually. That's pretty. Okay. That's pretty sick, bro. The female protagonists. What if Jotaro did this to beat his enemies? Wow. Raimi's merch coming up? Hermes merch? Eon. What the hell's wrong with this guy? How's she gonna get out of this, huh? The best suicide preventionist. Sincere. He just wanted sincereness. No. Yeah, it looks like Strawheim right there. I mean, yeah. No. Straits. No. The other guy. I forgot his name. What? Huh? That's a satisfying sound. Yo, manifested. Smack. It's kiss in Japanese. What just happened? What just happened there? That's a crazy battle. Forget King Crimson explained. Explain what just happened right there. Unless you just killed him, I guess, by smacking his brain together before he can die from the electricity. Even though it was already, I don't know. Don't worry about it. She got out of there. She got out of there. That guy's dead, right? So does he have the stand ability now? I want to watch the next one. Episode 6. When should I stop? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 would be good. Just watch the credits. Feel it. Feel like you're on the beach, on the island, the prison. Part 6. Shout out to Megumi Hunter for translating.